Homemade crumbs are going to taste better. You'll save money.
Don't leave crumbs.
Let's make breadcrumbs.
Do you ever find there's maybe a tension between your role as a photographer and capturing these wonderful moments live, with Seve, for instance, being such a close friend, the 86 Masters, when you kind of see him maybe struggle and falter a bit?
I hated that. Yeah. I must be the only person in the world who hates the fact that Jack Nicklaus won that Masters. Even though I got a lovely picture of him on the 17th green, and that was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make, because Seve was going down 15 at the time, and whereas Jack was coming up 17, and I must have changed direction 10 times when I was deciding where to go there. Luckily, I made, we can't work inside the ropes, so it's a bit of a lottery there anyway, but being tall, I have a decent advantage there. So, I managed to find an angle for that putt, and he made a great picture. So, that was, I guess, a good decision. But it was very sad. I think Seve had maybe not had his brother on the bag. I don't know. It's one of those. It's, we'll see. History will never tell us that one.
Yeah, well, that's obviously one of the most dramatic Masters probably in history, particularly with Nicklaus's run.
Well, but there's plenty of them, aren't there, the Masters? What a tournament. That back nine never really fails to deliver.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how has Augusta changed, would you say, in terms of your role as a photographer over the years? It seems like they've maybe tightened up restrictions a little bit over the last few years. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, it is. Well, the restrictions have always been there from the word go. Nowhere inside the ropes. When I first went there, and bear in mind, I was a pretty green photographer in 1984 when I did my first Masters. And, I hadn't really learnt the game by any stretch of the imagination by then. So I didn't know what I was looking for or the places to go particularly. Now I've got a lovely routine, and I guarantee I can get some nice pictures every time I go there. But it's so different. You can't, you're not allowed to run. You can't get anywhere. The crossings, because you're not allowed inside the ropes. If you get caught in a certain place with two fairway crossings to go over, you can wait 20 minutes to get across these fairways. So, learning that was its own challenge. But they had a lot more of what I would call ugly towers in those days for photographers, which have now all gone, sadly. So we're well and truly minus any vantage points on that golf course outside the ropes. So it's just finding your spots and then using, I think the English accent helps quite a bit, and being tall. So, you just have to be super polite and not get upset when you don't get through. I've had other photographers who go there and absolutely hate being there. And I can understand why, because it's really frustrating. Normally in golf, you're used to being able to get around, but it also makes the most lovely, clean pictures. You don't see a picture with a mess like the Open Championship in the background, or the Ryder Cup, with 100 people inside the ropes. So it's got, and hand on heart, I'd swap access inside the ropes if we had clear access all the time, because the amount of times pictures are spoilt by random bunker rakers or scoreboard carriers or radio reporters or TV reporters.
Entered villages and that kind of thing.
Wandering into your backgrounds. It's the most pristine place you've ever seen. And it's an amazing experience. And this year would have been my 37th in a row. So, well, hopefully it will still be in November.
I'd like to think you'd probably be safe by then, I would have thought.
As Tom mentioned, you've captured just some of the most iconic moments in our sport over the years. Do you ever get a kind of premonition when you're in a position like you take, as you mentioned earlier, taking the picture of Nicklaus on the 17th in 86 or Seve on the 18th green there at St Andrews, when Tom Watson's still got to come in from behind him? Do you ever get a kind of feeling that this might actually be a really, really big moment, which later kind of turns out to be true? Or
you definitely get that. And also you do make mistakes,
Really?
But yeah, you do miss things because you make a poor decision. You go the wrong side of the hole. You know, even though a golf course is a very big, or arena as such, you can be. I mean, it's hard to explain to people how 2 yards can make a difference to the picture that you get in the end of it. You know, literally from sitting in one place to being 6 feet to your right can make the difference between getting an epic picture and being blocked by a caddy or blocked by something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a lottery, and it's just trying to combine getting in the right spot, thinking about what might happen, always expect the worst thing to happen or the best thing, so and then you just got to hope that it happens towards you. I've got a lot of pictures of people's backsides when they win tournaments. Like Tiger Woods last year.
Which turned out to be, the most.
I love that picture.
It's brilliant.
I actually love that picture.
Craig Stadler in the background.
Stadler, exactly.
The only one who's not smiling.
I think he makes the picture in every sense. So yeah.
Do you ever find it difficult if you're in a position and you have got set up and you think this is it, and then something maybe obstructs your shot or something, and you think, I need to get over there, but if I go over there,
I'm going to upset the player.
I'm 50% chance I'm going to miss the shot. How do you cope with those situations?
I think you just have to, when you've got to make the move, basically, because if you have this feeling you've just got to get to a certain spot because that is going to be the position, and so I will make a qualified decision to try and sprint or move, shuffle along on my knees, basically, trying not to put a player off. But so I try and do that, but you just have to accept it if you can't get there, because things are going to happen, and that's, experience has brought me that. You just have to oh God, that's it, right? You can't get it back, and it's a bit like when you play golf. You hit a bad shot, there's nothing you can do about it. That shot's gone. You have a 10-second rule. Always, when I was caddying for my boy, and he was playing amateur golf, and we used to have this 10-second rule about a shot, and that was it. We just did not talk about a bad bounce or whatever.